Sonia, what's your question?
Well, since our mastermind is mainly, for veterans, first responders, my question is, do you have any veterans programs, low cost franchise licensing programs that will help them get into their marketplace? Because although I've heard a lot of the costs that you've mentioned are quite high. And, I know from my own research and working with veterans and clients I've had that there are veterans licensing franchising programs out there. So I'm wondering, do you have that as part of your business model that you can work with veterans and first responders? Because that's what the primary audience of this group is.
Sure. Yeah, so for the franchising, Andrea Dobkin is where I'd push to, and I don't know if they have anything specific for veterans or not. I wouldn't say that with through Achieve we have anything set up with it, specifically to veterans, but what we've done though is we have it down to $5,000 is what it takes to get me to help you through the licensing process. That means literally from step A to Z, which we think is a fairly inexpensive way to get you what you need. That even includes the licensing agreement. Now, I will always tell people they should still go to a lawyer at the very end and make sure everything's crossed. But we give them the templates, and that's even with contract agreements, meaning like for employee agreements and stuff. So I would say my answer I would kind of say is yes, but I wouldn't say it's specific to veterans. But I believe what we've come up with makes it very economical to help anyone license their intellectual property, as long, and I'll come back to what we talked about with Mac earlier, as long as we all feel that it is a viable source to generate revenue.
Okay, so if you have this licensing, do you have a website, or I just see your email and your contact? Do you have a website
Achieve
with
license
information?
achievelicensing.com is where they can go, and they can also
Okay.
that basically they can reach out, we can get contact, and we can start to chat. And my time is free from that perspective. I will always sit down and chat, see what you have, and discuss, what's our viable option. And I've had cases right away where it's like, yeah, you're definitely in the franchise world. Let's get you to Andrea. No reason to keep talking with me. Let's get you to Andrea and let her run with you on the franchise side. But yeah, and that's the one thing I like I said, I can't take money from someone if I don't feel comfortable that we can make this work for them. And that's a viable licensing or franchising opportunity for that matter.
So you're talking about Andrea Dobkins out of Salt Lake?
Exactly correct. Yes.
Okay. And that I think she said that she has access to deal with over 850 different franchises.
It's 100. Yeah, I think it's closing at 900. Yeah. So
I mean, it blows my mind,
well, and that's the crazy thing is that if you realize, you just look around, all of a sudden you don't realize that you're walking into an establishment that's a franchise sometimes. There are a zillion franchises. So
yeah. As I said, I had a couple legal regulations, and obviously, going to attorneys. I know that we have attorneys associated with Achieve. There's a lot of different attorneys out there. How do you recognize who has the ability and who is just putting a rubber stamp on something?
Right. Yeah, truly it's anyone that is truly doing contract law would know what they're doing. Now, with that being said, is if you go the franchise route, you're gonna need someone that's specific to franchise. So the franchise has a document that has 23 sections, and every person that does a franchise, step the number 1, the number 2, all the way down to 23. They're all identical, and you have to fill in all your information. So you need to know someone that's understanding of how to do that. So that's very specific. On licensing, we give you a license template. We kind of help you. I can show you what I've done on mine. But you still want to go to someone that is somewhat knowledgeable, in licensing. We have a couple of them. But by us giving you kind of all the template, it really helps. But you truly on the licensing side, as long as you have a true contract lawyer, most of the points would be covered by anything they deal with on a day-to-day, meaning enforcement areas, terms, terminations, everything. So again, licensing really kind of comes down to not nearly as difficult to accomplish as a franchise ever is.